How you doing today, folks? Now, as always, before we get started, I want to send a personal shout out to all my new subscribers. I love you all dearly. I've been able to talk to you guys more often, which at the end of the day is the reason why I started this whole channel. So that just means the absolute world to me to be able to talk knives with you guys. We're also going to be doing a $1,000 giveaway when we hit 1,000 subscribers, so please stay tuned for that. It's going to be something absolutely crazy. Nice, big, badass custom knife. So this is going to be the review of the Cold Steel Knives AD-10. Now, I've had this knife for about 6 months or so. I have used it, have not really abused it. It's just not really been in my pocket all that often. But it is a damn solid knife. While it's not personally for me, it's definitely for a lot of other people. I also have the Demco version of this, which is the one I just kind of beat the shit out of and carry a lot more. But I did want to try the cold steel variant, so yep. So as far as the actual blade steel, we have a solid chunk of CPM S35VN, which is an absolutely fantastic steel. Now, we also have a nice big belly blade. This is going to be the flat ground version. The hollow ground is unfortunately pretty hard to come by. It's also normally CTS XHP, can't talk. This is about a 3.5-inch blade. It's nothing too crazy. It is a pretty big knife, however. Because of the nature of what the Triad lock is, you have to have quite a lot of gap right here. So for what that is, it makes you to where you don't really have that much blade per handle. But that doesn't bother you. It's definitely not really a problem. Now, as far as the actual blade, this thing slices really, really nice. It's by no means the best slicer out there, but it is very, very solid. A lot of people think because it has a thicker blade stock, it doesn't cut well. I assure you it cuts fantastically. It also cuts you very easily if you, forever 1 second, just don't respect this knife. It will remind you that this thing is a cutter. We also have the very stout Triad lock, so it's going to not really go anywhere pretty much ever. It's by far one of the strongest locking mechanism out there. It's not my personal style and my personal use or whatever. I've never had a lock fail on me unless it was from a really shitty knife. Looking at you, Ozark Trail. So the whole Triad lock isn't kind of the be-all end-all for me personally, but it's definitely cool. A lot of people said you can't actually Triad lock one-handed. Again, press that button, drops down, like no issue. It's all very, very smooth. We have this very nice contoured G10 handle. Fits really well in hand. I've had a whole bunch of people hold this knife, ranging from like size medium hands all the way up to my uncle who has size 3X hands. You think I got big hands? Man, my uncle has these massive ass meat hooks. And even with him, this actually still holds quite well. Now, there is an option to choke up. It's not really a finger choil, but you can definitely choke it up and have a bit more room. There's also a lanyard hole, so you want to tie a lanyard into it. You can also have even more room to hold it. So there's tons and tons of different ways you can hold this actual knife. If you want to be tactical, you can definitely hold it in this grip as well. Me personally, I hold it like this. So I have my finger all the way over here. This whole piece is kind of exposed. It sits in this little piece right there. And you can get very fine, detailed cuts, which is mainly what I use this knife for. I did a whole bunch of arts and crafts, cutting up cardboard and kind of different shapes and stuff like that. And I was using a pair of scissors, and it just wasn't quite cutting it for me, so I pulled out this piece and processed a bunch of cardboard and these kind of like vaguely human shapes or whatever to basically make something kind of cool for my kid's art project. So it definitely is good to go for that. I really can't stress how good this feels in hand. You have this very strange kind of flat clip, but what that does is it makes it to where you really can't feel it at all. This knife has no real hot spots to speak of. There's a slight irritational piece right here, but it's not what I would call a hot spot. It's just where you can kind of feel the clip, but it's only just barely. Overall, the ergonomics on this knife are absolutely fantastic, and to be quite clear, they're some of the best I've ever experienced in a folding knife, by far. Now, the custom Demco version, which is currently out to one of my buddies for review, is a bit better, but to be clear, the Cold Steel AD-10 it's really, really close. Couple size comparisons. I'm going to go ahead and throw out my Demco Knives AD-15, which just got back in the other day from another channel reviewing this thing. So as far as the actual size, it's pretty damn close. The AD-15 is just a little bit smaller, but it's not by much, man. We're talking fractions of an inch. So this is definitely bigger in hand though, and it's bigger in pocket as well. You can definitely feel this one when you are carrying it. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely noticeable. We're also going to throw up a Hinderer XM24. So as you can see, it's a pretty decent sized knife. 24, definitely bigger, but if you can see there, it's not bigger by much. It is like almost nothing. Actually, this might be spot on now that I think about it. Actually, if you look past the aspect ratio, the XM24 is just a little bit bigger, but again, not by much at all. I'm also going to throw this up against the ZT-0562, very much an EDC staple. Also got the Benchmade full-size Griptilian, Benchmade 940, and we'll do a Spyderco. Going to be the Mannix 2. So it's definitely not what I would consider to be a small knife. It's not all that big in terms of the overall length, but what it is in pocket and in hand is a pretty hefty knife. Again, because of this nice, very rounded, contoured G10. Now, this knife is very much designed to work, and that is very much what it does. Again, how comfortable it is in hand is absolutely crazy. Now, as far as the actual carry profile, it is a pretty fatter piece, as you can see next to the XM24. It is a big knife. The XM24 is just a bit bigger, to be clear, but it is a pretty damn sizable piece. It is definitely a chunk in the pocket. This pocket clip does work. It is very easy to slide it in. It's very easy to take it out. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass to put it in the pocket, but it's definitely not really a problem. You just have to put a little extra force than you might be used to. So as far as the positives on this knife, again, we have a fantastic, absolutely fantastic grip. Almost no hot spots to speak of, just a minor bit of uncomfort right here. Multiple different grips you can hold it in. And everything is just surprisingly damn comfortable. Now, we also have a beautiful chunk of S35VN, which is an absolutely fantastic steel. S35VN has this unique property, well, not unique, but very, very interesting property to hold an edge. Not quite as long as S30V, but definitely it's able to sharpen a lot better and a lot more clean. And in my personal opinion, the edge you can get with S35VN by far outstrips S30V. So that is very good. The blade grind, while not being quite as good as that original hollow grind, is still damn good as this flat. And overall, it is just a damn solid piece. Now, as far as the negatives, again, there's a bit of a chunk in the pocket. It does not personally bother me. In order for it to be a chunk in the pocket, it also means you have to sacrifice this fantastic grip. But again, if you are looking for a smaller EDC knife, this probably won't quite fit what you are looking for. However, if you're looking for something designed to work, the Cold Steel AD-10, like almost all of Andrew Demko's designs, are really and truly meant to be used, and you can feel that in hand. So as far as the negatives, just again, this clip is it's a bit of a pain in the ass to put in the pocket. Not a big deal, but it is there. You do have the Triad lock, so if you're not a fan of the whole back lock type of thing, that might be a downside to you. Personally, I don't really care one way or the other. This is a very, very smooth back lock or Triad lock. Again, the actual weight of the knife as well as the chunk in the pocket might be a problem for some people. Again, for me personally, it's just not. So my overall score on this knife is going to be a 95. It is an overwhelmingly positive piece. There are little nitpicks here and there, but they are definitely just nitpicks. And in order to get that score down, you really got to look at the smallest, minute details. Now, to be clear, I do my scores between 0 out of 100 or 0 out of 10. So a 0.5% is all that is wrong with this knife. So it is a vast majority. Absolutely fantastic, absolutely good to go, and I highly, highly recommend this knife interests you. Pick it up, you will not be disappointed. Cold Steel has a very much of a hit and miss history for me personally, but this Demko Knives AD-15 or Cold Steel, this Demko AD-10 or Cold Steel AD-10, Andrew Demko 10, is an absolutely phenomenal one by them. And again, if you're interested in a custom, it's just a little bit better, but man, the difference in price is insane. So if you can't afford a full custom, definitely pick up the cold steel variant. It is remarkably close for the price tag, and it is honestly fantastic. So as always, I love you all very, very much, folks. Please take care. Thank you for your time, your likes, your support, your subscribes, your comments. Please do me just as one personal favor and do the best you can to be a better person tomorrow than you are today. And I do promise you'll find your center in life. Life is crazy right now, so just take a moment to love one another, forgive one another, and look past all the drama and just embrace each other as a community, as a whole, as people. I love you, folks. Take care.